Coming up tonight on CTV News, officers continue to investigate the threat that prompted a lockdown in Annapolis.
I am incredibly proud of the response that happened, but there were a lot of lessons learned.
Plus, a revised version of the juvenile reform bill is on the way to the Senate. And get ready for spring. We'll have those stories and more up next.
Good evening, I'm Mariah Jalad.
And I'm Patricia Malone with a CTV News update. Well, Maryland's State House was placed on lockdown for nearly 2 hours yesterday. The lockdown started about 5 p.m. on Thursday amid reports of a security threat. Annapolis police say a man phoned in saying he was approaching the Capitol building with a gun. People at the scene were told to lock doors and turn out lights as law enforcement from several agencies responded. Many working or visiting the complex say there was scattered confusion and little electronic communication during the high alert. Maryland Matters reporter Will Ford was just outside the state capitol when the incident unfolded.
When I went back inside the House of Delegates building, it was on lockdown. So pretty much every building around this part of the campus in Annapolis, no one could leave because of what happened. And then folks who work in, some of the folks who work inside the State House, the pages, there was a few different reporters, came to the Baltimore City delegation room right over in the House of Delegates building, where we waited. I think the lockdown was a total of about 2 hours.
I am incredibly proud of the response that happened, but there were a lot of lessons learned. The speaker and I have been talking about this issue for quite a while. Given the construction that's happening on campus, we have been very concerned about having clear lines of communication. And in fact, on Monday of this week, we had entered into an agreement with Motorola for a rave alert system, which would allow for geofencing and text messaging alerts for anyone on campus, which would have proactive messaging and the ability to send messages in a moment. Of course, that contract was signed on Monday and is in the process of being built out.
And the incident remains under investigation. Well, the Maryland House passes its version of a revised juvenile reform bill today. The Senate is scheduled to have its final reading next week. If it passes that chamber, the two versions have to be reconciled. Changes to the current law would include what offenses count as juvenile crimes in the state, the age range for those who can be kept in custody, and what rehabilitative services are available for youth offenders are tackled in each version. Animal cruelty was taken out of the Senate version but remains in the House bill. Senator Will Smith says there are still some items that need to be ironed out between the two versions, particularly dealing with juvenile car theft.
For auto theft, they did the first offense diversion program, and then that person goes back to delinquency jurisdiction. I think there may be some differences in what they do for if you violate something when you're on parole. There may be some differences there, or under supervision. I'm sorry?
Probation.
Or probation, sorry, probation, not parole. And so I'm not sure, I haven't read the full final product yet, but I think those are two of the top touch points there.
You believe that these can be ironed out between?
Well, we've got no other choice.
Meantime, Senate leaders announced today that the medical aid and dying bill will not get voted on in committee because they simply don't have enough votes to pass it. Ferguson says that has effectively killed any chances for the legislation to pass this session.
A 22-year-old man will spend decades behind bars in connection with what police say were two gang-related killings. Byron Scott has our story.
It's sentencing day for a man convicted of two gang-related murders back in 2021. This is where the murders happened, on the 5300 block of Hamilton Street in Hyattsville. 22-year-old Edgar Escobar Sosa was found guilty in connection with the June 5th, 2021 murders of Velasquez Lemus and Hilbert Martinez Velasquez. Investigators say Escobar Sosa waited for his victims on the second-floor stairwell landing of their apartment building. Escobar Sosa was sentenced to 90 years behind bars for the murders. Investigators say it was a gang-related shooting. Both were struck numerous times. At the courthouse, Byron Scott, CTV News.
The U.S. Senate has approved another short-term stopgap spending bill, avoiding a partial government shutdown with just 36 hours to spare. The new measure would set deadlines to fund one part of government by March 8th and the other part by March 22nd. The bill now goes to President Joe Biden's desk to be signed into law.
The man who shot and killed his 11-year-old stepdaughter before turning the gun on himself in Landover on Wednesday was previously arrested on several charges. Those charges include carrying a pistol without a license and threatening to kidnap or injure a person. D.C. court documents say Curtis Lynch was arrested in Southeast on February 12th and released just 4 days later. The Prince George's Sheriff's Office also responded to the Landover home a few weeks ago. But Police Chief Malik Aziz says that they could not confirm if the calls were domestic related.
We would like to stop, not mitigate, not slow down or incapacitate any offenses around domestic violence or family-related violence. And as I always say, one act of violence or one homicide, one murder is too much already. And so we aim to step in as part of the intercessory into stopping these horrific and tragic acts. Our 10-year-old future bright star should be here with us now.
And this is the 6th family violence-related homicide in the county this year. Well, it was a close call this morning in Montgomery County when a large tree fell into a home in the 2900 block of Collins Avenue just before 5 this morning. The old-growth tree caused significant damage to the Wheaton Hills home and brought down surrounding power lines, knocking out power to nearly a dozen homes. Fortunately, the residents of the home made it out safely with their pets.
The Metropolitan Police Department responded to reports of a deceased juvenile male on a Red Line train in Silver Spring. Police say this appears to be a train surfing incident. Officials reported train delays between Silver Spring and Forest Glen. The investigation is ongoing. You're watching CTV News. Coming up,
Montgomery County housing might see some changes.
Montgomery's top leader signs an important bill that will impact renters. I'm Katara Jones in Rockville. I have all those details coming up on CTV News.
If alcohol builds a wall around you that doesn't let you see where you're going, that keeps you feeling isolated and alone, that makes you feel hopeless, know this. We're here to help if you want us to. It's never too early or too late to ask for help with a drinking problem. Alcoholics Anonymous, there is a way out. For more information, visit aa.org and download the Meeting Guide app.
Welcome back. Well, keeping existing apartments in Montgomery County affordable for residents has been the goal of the county executive and council this year. And today, the jurisdiction did just that. CTV's Katara Jones is in Rockville with more.
Montgomery's County Executive Mark Elridge signs its amended right of first refusal bill today. County leaders say the new law will help Montgomery better preserve affordable housing and keep renters in their home.
I'm struggling even to make my letters look identifiable.
Surrounded by council members, County Executive Mark Elridge signs Bill 3823, known as the right of first refusal. The new amended law allows the county to assign a qualified affordable housing partner the right to buy a rental property like an apartment building or condo.
So this kind of changes the process, and I'm really excited about the ability to improve the right of first refusal law, because it's critical if we're going to preserve affordable housing in the county.
The council voted unanimously on the bill last month. Lawmakers say this type of law has an overall positive impact on families that rent in the county.
And by creating an opportunity in more ways that people can stay in our community, stay in affordable housing, and move from renting to home ownership, we are benefiting our entire community and creating affordable, stable communities.
Montgomery's original right of first refusal law has been on the books here since 1980. Katara Jones, CTV News.
County leaders say the law also caps the good faith deposit at 5%. Meantime, Prince George's County already enacted its own right of first refusal law back in 2013.
The Montgomery County Police Department receives a $500,000 grant to fight opioid and firearm crimes. The grant will provide the county with a forensic crime lab. Chief Marcus Jones says the lab will help the department solve crimes by reducing caseload backlogs and prevent drug-related deaths.
A Laurel man is sentenced to 53 months in federal prison for his part in an unemployment insurance fraud scheme that totaled more than $1.5 million in losses. 29-year-old Michael McCoge was found guilty for a wire fraud conspiracy and for aggravated identity theft. He was also ordered to forfeit almost $300,000 and pay restitution of more than $2 million.
Prince George's turns on its first high-intensity activated crosswalk device today. The device is located at the intersection of Maryland 197 and Lerner Place in Bowie. Officials say pedestrians can now press the walk button and safely cross the busy intersection at any time. The State Highway Association partnered with the city and residents of Bowie to make a local school, park, and the East Coast Greenway more accessible. Well, state police are giving away free steering wheel locks to owners of Hyundai and Kia vehicles this weekend. County residents with key ignitions can bring their vehicles to any of 14 state police locations. Note that you must bring your driver's license and registration. Police say Hyundai and Kia are among the most stolen vehicles. In about 50% of cars stolen, the keys were left inside and 60% were left unlocked.
Well, mark your calendars. The most beloved trees in the nation's capital are just weeks away from full bloom. The National Park Service says the cherry blossoms are expected to reach peak bloom from March 23rd to March 26th. 3,700 Yoshino cherry trees are planted around the Tidal Basin, Hines Point, and the Washington Monument. Officials say depending on the weather conditions, the trees may remain in bloom for about 10 days after the peak bloom period.
We are seeing the effects of both warmer and highly variable temperatures on the trees. Nonetheless, the puzzle pieces are falling into place and tell us when we expect 70% of the Yoshino cherry trees will be in bloom. Cherry trees' blossom development is dependent on a number of variables, including the weather conditions, so our horticulturalists will be monitoring the bud development and reporting out any updates we have.
The annual National Cherry Blossom Festival will run from March 20th through April 14th. For more details, visit the website on your screen. And you're watching CTV News. Coming up,
a new movie about faith, love, and family is premiering right here in Prince George's. Stay tuned to hear more.
Diversity is in our nature. Diverse cultures, identities, skills, and knowledge. Diversity is in nature, too. Biodiversity. Plants, animals, and ecosystems. It connects us and sustains us. But nature's biodiversity is at risk now more than ever before. And our own future is at stake. So ask yourself, how can you contribute to protecting all life on our planet? Because the future is in our hands.
Welcome back. Well, Maryland's oldest historically black college has increased its endowment by nearly 300%. That according to a recent analysis by Business Journals. Bowie State University grew its endowment from $10.5 million in fiscal year 2019 to more than $41 million in fiscal year 2022. Last year, the university reached a $50 million fundraising goal 2.5 years ahead of schedule. Even though endowments at U.S. colleges and universities declined 4.5% between 2021 and 2022, overall, they're up 32% since 2019. Well, the Woodstream Church in Bowie is hosting a red carpet movie premiere this weekend. The movie, titled My Private Line to God, has already won the award for Best Screenplay at the Christian Film Festival. The story follows the journey of an adopted 6-year-old girl named Joy, who learns the power of prayer and love while navigating her new life. Here's a preview of the award-winning movie.
We will not fail Joy. And most importantly, disappoint God.
We're asking for miracles. There are things going on in my life that need to change.
And the screening takes place tomorrow at 3 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon. And for more ticket information, you can visit instaseats.com. Search My Private Line to God.
Well, I've got the Friday sports page for you. The UMD women's basketball team dominated the Wisconsin Badgers Thursday night. In their final home game of the season, the Terps pulled off a 79-63 victory. Leading by 20 points at the half, the Badgers did come back strong, trailing only by 6 points early in the fourth quarter. The Terps have won 5 out of their last 6 games as they continue their end-of-season NCAA tournament push.
I loved our intensity, from the tip, forcing 13 turnovers in the first half and making Wisconsin have to work for everything. I mean, this was a special one to, finish at home here and with a win. I thought, third quarter wasn't one of our finer moments, but we found a way to, get back our defense and into the fourth quarter. For us, it's been a really good month, winning, 5 of the 6 and, the last loss with the number 2 team in the country on the road, we've battled in every single game. So, we're looking forward to our last game on the road at Indiana and then postseason.
Maryland wraps up its regular season with a game at Indiana on Sunday. Game tip-off is at 3. And the 2024 NFL Combine is underway, and it's no surprise. The Washington Commanders are busy looking for a new quarterback. The franchise has been searching for one since Kirk Cousins left after the 2017 season. During the Combine, the Commanders have scheduled formal interviews with 6 quarterback prospects. With a new owner, GM, and head coach, the Commanders have a fresh start and the number 2 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft.
All right, and great job doing our sports today, filling in for Simon Buggs. But now we're going to get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, there is a 70% chance of rain after 9 p.m. That's going to carry over into Saturday when it'll be 55 degrees. Sunday temperatures will rise to 64 with a low of 47. Monday, it'll be partly sunny with a high of 66. Now for your community calendar, the Department of Parks and Recreation in Prince George's is celebrating Women's History Month. Tomorrow, harp player Brandy Younger will be at Prince George's Public Playhouse. Younger made history at the 2022 Grammy Awards as the first Black solo artist nominated in the Best Instrumental Composition category for her song, Black is Beautiful. The event takes place from 8 to 9:30 p.m. Tickets can be bought at pgparks.com/events. I love the harp. That's one of my favorite instruments there. So. Well, that will wrap up our CTV News Update. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm Mariah Jalad. Tune in next week for more news. Have a great weekend.